Hiya, so I finished my little simulation, and it's awesome. Let's get into it. So, since the last video was made, I finally made houses actually sprawl outward. They will always consume one piece of wood whenever they're made, and if they run out of population, they die. As well as allowing the houses to collect their own food and wood, provided they're next to the respective resource. Now, after I did this, well, I found out that they basically gained too much wood, and they were definitely limited by the fact that dead houses just sort of lingered there. Luckily, I had some easy fixes. First of all, every house would only produce one piece of wood instead of 5. Then, I decided to make the dead houses get cleared out. This should be fine, right? Well, then I had the problem of the houses actually spawning a food tower whenever they got removed, so yeah. I mean, it was an easy fix, but it took me way too long to debug it, so I had to rework the entire building system, and this is where we're introduced to the building registry. Alright then, so this is the building registry class, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of things going on here, but essentially, all it does is just checks all the buildings, adds buildings and that, and adds houses. It can it'll even upgrade buildings, right? Which more on that later, because it's an entire can of worms on its own. And yeah, this just makes it easier for me to look at things. Well, anyways, after making the building registry, all I had to do was just implement some code for upgrading, and then BAM! Now we have upgrades. I don't have any clip of the farms, like, being upgraded at this stage, but hey, we can actually see the idea here, and it looks quite cool showing where the houses will be built and actually clearing them properly now. But another problem arose at this stage. The farms wouldn't produce anything when they got upgraded, and it took too long. So I just half the time it took for them to upgrade, and then later on I did just get rid of that requirement for them to actually not be upgrading, right? Anyways, we can actually achieve up to about 20,000 people, which is really cool, and this leads me to handling every single type of upgrade I could get. Now, time for upgrades. So essentially, the player script, I don't know why I called it a player, because you're not really doing anything. All this does, right, is it tries to upgrade things, and then it just gets every single building, gets the possible upgrades for each building, which then it checks the upgrade conditions, right? Which these conditions are very specific. As you can see here, it's different for all of them. Now, if we get up City, City has quite a few upgrade conditions, which, I mean, you can read over that if you want. I'm not explaining it right now, but hey, that's pretty much all this does, and yeah. With this, we're finally in the final stretch of this project. You can see here that the urban sprawl is large. It grows so fast. At this point, I also made it so that each house or city contributes a portion of their population to work in a resource. This makes it produce a lot more resources. And this works for making a large city, but it also makes it way too easy to grow. So, I had to change some values around and also make the food reset every year so the city doesn't just stockpile this insane amount of food. And finally, the project is finished. I think it's kind of cool to see it grow like this. You can also see that growth is not just instantaneous, it does take some time for it to grow to this proportion. And also you can see some little cities and towns being built there as well, and the little lumber mills and the farms as well. Oh, it's so cool. And the result of this is kind of actually really expected for me, because the growth does just stall right at the end. Right, there's no actual end to this, but it does seem to stall. As you can see, it bounces between two values there. That just means that it's not getting enough food, but it's not getting so little food that everyone dies. But hey, this is the actual project finished, finally. Anyways, that is all for this project. If I had to expand upon it, I would definitely just remake the entire thing, because this code is a fever dream. Also, using Godot for this is just so easy. It was so nice that I didn't run into any complications because of the engine. I just had to learn a few things about how the node system worked. Anyways, if you enjoyed that video, then make sure to like and subscribe for more. See ya.